I was branded a burden at Christmas dinner, so I cut off every bill, had my dad arrested, and watched my parents lose it all. At Christmas dinner, my father put down his fork, looked me straight in the eye, and said, "You are a burden, and you can no longer live with us." At first, I thought I had misheard him. My mom let out this weird nervous laugh, like she was not sure he meant it, but then he just sat there, staring at me, waiting for a reaction. The room fell silent. My younger sister, Lily, froze with her fork halfway to her mouth. She looked at me wide-eyed, as if she could not believe what she had just heard. I swallowed the piece of ham I was chewing and put my fork down. "What? You heard me," he said. "You have overstayed your welcome. You need to move out." I just sat there, trying to process. I was 23. I had a steady job and could have moved out a long time ago, but I stayed because they needed me. I paid the electric bill, the internet, groceries most weeks. Things they could not afford because my dad had been unemployed for years, and my mom only worked part-time. I was not a burden. I was the reason the lights were still on in that house. And now, out of nowhere, I was being kicked out like some useless freeloader. Mom finally spoke up. "Maybe we should talk about this later." "No," Dad interrupted. "This is my house. I make the rules, and I say he is done here." Lily put down her fork. She was only 16, and I could tell she was scared. She stared at our parents like she did not even recognize them. If they could throw me out so easily, what did that mean for her? I took a deep breath. I was not going to argue or beg. If they wanted me out, fine. But they were not ready for what that really meant. I leaned back in my chair. "All right," I said. My dad sat up straighter, like he had won some imaginary battle. My mom still looked uncomfortable, but she did not say anything. Maybe she was in shock, or maybe she just did not care as much as I thought she would. I stood up, grabbed my plate, and carried it to the sink. I did not want to give them the reaction they wanted. Instead, I looked at Lily, who was still sitting there, tense and confused. I gave her a small nod. She was the only one at this table I still cared about. Dad took a sip of his drink as if nothing had happened. Mom went back to picking at her mashed potatoes. Lily kept looking at me, as if she wanted to say something, but she did not. I did not stay to finish dinner. I just walked out. I did not say another word that night. I went straight to my room, closed the door, and started packing. I was not going to waste my time trying to understand why they were doing this. If they wanted me gone, then I was gone. But that also meant they would lose everything I had paid for, and I was not going to warn them. I packed in silence, but I could hear them talking downstairs. My mom's voice was low and scared. My dad's was firm, like he was trying to convince her of something. I caught bits and pieces. "He is old enough, we can handle it. He should have moved out years ago." An hour later, Lily knocked on my door. I opened it, and she slipped in, closing it behind her. She looked upset, her eyes red, as if she had been crying. "What the hell was that?" she whispered. "I do not know," I said, stuffing my laptop into my bag. "But I am leaving tomorrow." She shook her head. "That is crazy. You pay for everything. They cannot even afford food without you. Not my problem anymore." She bit her lip, obviously trying to hold back more tears. "Where are you going?" "I will figure it out." The truth was, I had some money saved up, but I had not planned on moving out so suddenly. I would have to find a place fast, maybe stay with a friend for a while. But I was not worried. I would be fine. "They would not." Lily hesitated. "Can I?" She stopped herself. I knew what she was going to ask. She wanted to come with me, but she was still in high school, and as much as I hated leaving her behind, I could not take her with me. "You know they never let that happen," I said. She looked at the ground. "Yeah." I finished packing, and she just stood there like she did not want to go. Finally, she sighed. "You are going to regret this." I grinned. "I know." The next morning, I left before they even woke up. I carried my bags downstairs, loaded my car, and took one last look at the house. No sadness, no regret, just relief. Then, as I was pulling out of the driveway, I opened my banking app and removed my name from every bill, electric, internet, water, even the Netflix account. I had paid for them all. Without me, everything would be shut off within the month. I smiled, put my car in drive, and drove away without looking back. For the next few days, I crashed at my friend Jake's apartment while I looked for a place of my own. His couch sucked. His dog Max would not stop staring at me while I tried to sleep, and his roommate kept asking if I was staying forever. But none of that mattered, because I was free. No more paying for a house I did not even want to live in. No more pretending to respect a man who had no problem kicking me out at Christmas dinner. No more being treated like a walking ATM. I was finally doing something for myself. Then, 3 days after I left, my phone started ringing. At first, I ignored it. 7 missed calls from my mom, 2 from my dad, which was shocking because he never called me, and a couple of texts from Lily. I ignored those too, until she sent this. "They are freaking out. The power has been cut off." I grinned. They really thought the bills would magically pay themselves. Then another text. "Dad is losing his mind. He said you did something to the house." Oh, this was getting good. I could just picture him stomping around in the dark, yelling at my mom while she cried about the Wi-Fi being down. An hour later, another call. This time, I answered. The second I picked up the phone, my mom's voice hit me like a hurricane. "Kevin, we do not know what happened. The power is out, the internet is down, the water bill. You did not pay," I said simply. Silence. Then, in a lower voice, "You paid for these?" I almost laughed. "Are you serious? Who else did you think was paying for them?" Your father said. She cut herself off. I already knew my father was too proud to admit that he had no idea how things worked. He probably told her that everything was fine, that the house would run like magic even without me. "Not my problem anymore," I said. "Kevin, please, we did not mean." I hung up. I thought that was the end of it. They would figure it out. Maybe my dad would finally get off his ass and get a job. Maybe my mom would pick up more hours. Maybe they would sell something to keep the lights on. Either way, not my problem. Then the next morning, I woke up to a message from my bank. "Fraud alert, suspicious login attempt detected." I sat up quickly, my heart pounding. I checked my email, 3 more alerts. Someone had tried to access my account, and I already knew who it was. I logged on immediately and scanned through my transactions. Nothing had been taken yet, but there it was. An attempted password reset, another failed login, then a third. I clenched my jaw. My dad must have really been desperate. I called Lily. She answered right away. "I was just about to call you," she whispered. "Dad is freaking out. He keeps yelling about money. He was on the computer all morning." I exhaled sharply, trying to get into my bank account. She was silent for a second, then she cursed under her breath. "Does he have my old passwords?" I asked. "Probably," she admitted. "You know how Mom used to keep them in that little notebook by the computer?" I knew it. My dad must have been going through that thing, hoping I would be stupid enough to still be using the same passwords from high school. "Kevin?" Lily whispered. "He is really pissed, I think." She hesitated. I could hear shouting in the background, my dad's voice slamming doors, then my mom crying. "I think he is going to do something stupid," Lily said. Lily's words sent a shiver down my spine. "I think he is going to do something stupid." I gripped my phone tighter. "What do you mean? What did he say?" She lowered her voice. "He is saying that you ruined us, that you did this on purpose to screw him. He is talking about calling the cops." I almost laughed. "For what? Not paying his bills?" "I do not know," she hissed. "He is losing it. Mom is crying, says she will talk to you, but he will not listen. He is saying like he is not going to get away with this. Kevin, I think he wants to go after you." That wiped the smile off my face. I had expected my dad to get desperate, to beg, maybe even try to make me feel guilty, but for him to think he could get revenge on me, that was a whole new level of stupid. "Lock your door," I told her. "If he does something crazy, call me." I hung up and immediately changed every password I had, bank accounts, email, streaming services, even my Amazon login. Then I called my bank and told them that someone had tried to hack me. They locked my account so tight that even I had trouble getting in for a few hours. I thought that was the end of it. I was dead wrong. That night, Jake and I were chilling in his apartment, playing some stupid game on his Xbox, when someone banged on the door hard. Jake stopped the game. "Are you expecting someone?" I was not, and I already had a bad feeling. I got up, walked to the peephole, and felt my stomach drop. It was my dad. He was standing in the hallway, fists clenched, breathing like a bull about to charge. "Who is it?" Jake called. I stepped back from the door. My dad. Jake stood up. "Dude, what is going on?" Another bang. "Kevin, open the door." I did not move. He banged again, hard this time. "I know you are in there. You think you can just walk away from this?" Jake glared at me. "Dude, should we?" Before he could finish, my dad kicked in the door. That was it. I grabbed my phone and called 911. My dad just showed up at my apartment. I told the dispatcher. "He's banging on the door, yelling at me, and he just tried to kick it in." Jake took a step back. "Kevin, this is crazy." I met his eyes. "Yeah, I know." I held the phone to my ear as my dad kept yelling, "You ungrateful little. You think you can just walk away? You owe us, you." "Sir, officers are on their way," the dispatcher said. 2 minutes later, I heard sirens. Then my dad's voice cut out. A knock on the door. "Police, open up." I opened the door just in time to see two officers handcuffing my dad. His face was flushed, his chest heaving, but when he saw me standing there watching, his eyes changed. There was no regret, no embarrassment, just pure hatred. "You did this," he growled as they led him away. I just stood there watching, unmoved, because the truth was, he did it to himself. They took my dad away that night, but I knew it was not over. Lily called me an hour later. "Mom is losing it," she said. "She is crying and saying it is all your fault." "Yeah, that sounds about right. She keeps saying you have to fix this. She is already calling people, trying to get bail money." I almost laughed. With what money? Silence, because we both knew they had none. No electricity, no internet, no savings, and now no father figure to yell at everyone while pretending to be in control. Without me, they were sinking fast. I should have felt bad, but all I felt was relief. "Keep an eye on her," I told Lily. "If she does anything crazy, call me." And sure enough, Lily texted me the next morning, "Mom is selling your stuff." I froze. Then I called her. She picked up right away, voice sharp. "I told you to fix this. Are you selling my stuff?" A pause. Then bluntly, "We need money, Kevin." I clenched my jaw. "So you are stealing from me? You do not live here anymore," she snapped. "You left all this behind. It is in our house. That makes it ours." She had no remorse, no guilt, just entitlement. "I am calling the cops," I said. "Do not you dare." I hung up. Then I called the police. 2 hours later, I got a call back. "We talked to your mother," the officer said. "She was not happy, but she has agreed to hold your things until you can pick them up." I texted Lily, "I am coming over." But I should have known they were not ready, because when I pulled up to the house, something made my stomach drop. My car, sitting in the driveway. It should not have been there, because I had left it at Jake's apartment. I turned off the engine, my heart pounding. My car was not just here, it was being driven. The front seat was folded back, like someone had been sitting in it. My glove compartment was open, and worst of all, the gas tank was almost empty. I clenched my fists. They had stolen my car. Before I could get out, the front door swung open. My mother stepped out with her arms crossed. "You called the cops on me," she said. "You stole my car." I shot back. She scoffed. "It was just sitting there. You were not using it." I stared at her, trying to process the insanity of this logic. "It is my car. How did you even get it?" She did not answer, but I already knew they had a spare key. "Mom," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "If you do not give me my key, I am calling the cops again." Her expression flickered just for a second. Then, without a word, she stormed inside. A minute later, she came back and threw the key at me. It hit my chest and landed in the grass. "There," she spat. "Happy?" I picked it up, keeping my anger in check. "I am taking my things, and then I am leaving for good." I walked past her, straight into the house. Lily was waiting in the hall, looking tense. "She took your laptop and pawned it," she whispered. I closed my eyes, breathe in, breathe out. I turned to my mother. "Where is my laptop?" She lifted her chin. "I told you we needed money. That was it." I pulled up my phone, dialed 911 for the second time that week, and let her watch. "Yes, I want to report a stolen vehicle and stolen property," I said, staring her dead in the eye. My mom just admitted that she pawned my laptop without permission. The color drained from her face. This time, she was the one who had to deal with the cops. The moment my mother realized I was not bluffing, she panicked. "You cannot do this," she hissed, her voice low. "I am your mother." I ignored her. "Yes, officer, I have proof that she admitted to taking my belongings and pawning them," I said into the phone. "I want to press charges." Lily stood frozen, her eyes darting between us. My mother's hands were shaking now. She looked completely taken aback, like she thought she could keep pushing and I never pushed back. "Kevin," she tried again. Softer this time, like she was begging. "We are struggling. Your father is in jail. I had no choice." "You had a choice," I said. "You could have worked more. You could have sold your own stuff. You could have asked for help, instead of throwing me out like garbage." She blinked quickly, her face contorting. "I was angry." I laughed. "Yeah, so was I." I heard sirens outside. My mom jumped. A few minutes later, 2 police officers came through the door. "Sir, did you call about stolen property?" one of them asked. I nodded and pointed at my mother. "She took my laptop and pawned it." "I want to press charges." My mom gasped as if I had stabbed her. "Kevin, do not do this." The officers turned to her. "Ma'am, is this true?" She hesitated, her eyes darting to me, to Lily, then back to the cops. I could see her calculating, trying to figure out if she could lie her way out of this. Then Lily spoke. She told him herself right before he called you. My mom snapped her head at Lily so fast it was almost scary. You little... Ma'am, one of the cops cut her off. Do you have a receipt from the pawn shop? Her face fell. She knew what was coming. They took her outside. I watched through the window as they talked to her for a few minutes. Then, suddenly, handcuffs. She was struggling, started crying, screaming. Neighbors peered through their blinds. The whole street probably heard her wailing about how she was just a struggling mom and how this was unfair. Lily stood beside me, staring out the window. She swallowed hard. Is this really happening? I nodded. Yes. And for the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. My phone buzzed. A message from an unfamiliar number. You are going to regret this. My chest tightened. I read it again. Then I realized my dad had been released on bail. The moment I saw that message, I knew exactly what had happened. Someone had bailed my dad out, and I had a pretty good idea who, probably one of his old drinking buddies or maybe even a distant family member who had not gotten the full story. Either way, he was out and he was pissed. I showed Lily the text. Her face went pale. Kevin, you need to leave. No, I said. They do. I turned to the cops who were still outside dealing with my mom. Can I go in and get the rest of my stuff? One of them nodded. As long as it is okay with your sister. Lily was already moving. Let us make this quick. We went upstairs and packed everything that was mine, clothes, old video games, even the stupid stuff I had left behind, thinking I would come back for it one day. I was not coming back, ever. As I carried the last box to my car, my mother was still crying in the driveway, begging the officers to let her go. This is a misunderstanding. He is my son. He would not do this to me. I just walked past her, unbothered. She screamed my name, as if that would magically change anything. I got into my car. Lily stood by my window, shifting from foot to foot. I do not want to stay here. I sigh. I know you do not, but you only have 2 years until you are 18. She nodded, eyes glassy. I will be fine. I will just be quiet and keep my head down. Call me if anything happens. She nodded again. Then headlights appeared down the street. A car turned onto our street. My stomach dropped. My dad. He pulled up just as I started the engine. He barely had time to get out before I put it in reverse and backed into the street. He stared at me, eyes full of rage, like he was about to walk over and try something. I rolled down my window just enough to carry my voice. You try to come near me again, I am filing a restraining order. His hands clenched into fists. You think you are better than us? I smiled. I know I am. Then I drove away. That was the last time I saw them. I blocked my parents' numbers, changed my banking information, moved to a new place, and I never looked back. Lily held out for 2 years, just like she said she would. The minute she turned 18, she was gone. She moved in with a friend and went off to college. We still talk all the time. And my parents? My dad never held a job. My mom lost the house a year later. They bounced around for a while, burning bridges with family, and the last I heard, they were renting a rundown apartment in a bad part of town. They tried to reach out to me, Facebook messages, unfamiliar numbers, even letters. I never responded because they made their choice that Christmas dinner, and I made mine. Looking back on that Christmas dinner, I still feel a sharp pang in my chest when I remember my father's words, "You are a burden." Those words didn't just hurt. They shattered something inside me that I didn't even know was fragile. For years, I'd been the one holding our family together, paying bills with money I earned from long shifts at work, buying groceries when the fridge was empty, making sure the lights stayed on while my dad sat unemployed and my mom worked part-time. I was 23, with a good job, and I could have left any time. But I stayed out of love, or what I thought was love, a sense of duty to the people who raised me. Hearing him call me a burden felt like a betrayal that cut deeper than any knife. It wasn't just rejection, it was erasure. All my sacrifices, all the quiet ways I'd kept us afloat, dismissed in one cruel sentence at what was supposed to be a joyful family meal. In that moment, as the room went silent and Lily stared in shock, I felt a wave of numbness wash over me. I didn't cry or yell. I just swallowed my food and stood up calmly. But inside, something shifted. The hurt turned into a cold resolve. If they saw me as a burden, then fine. I'd remove myself entirely. Packing my bags that night, I felt a strange mix of grief and liberation. Grief for the family I thought I had, the parents who were supposed to protect and appreciate me. Liberation because, for the first time, I was choosing myself. Leaving the next morning without a goodbye brought an unexpected relief, like exhaling after holding my breath for years. Cutting off the bills wasn't just practical, it was my way of reclaiming my worth. They never thanked me for what I did. Why should I keep giving? The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions. Crashing on Jake's couch, I felt free but also isolated, replaying that dinner in my head. When the calls started coming, my mom panicking about the power being out, I felt a grim satisfaction at first. They finally saw what I meant to them. But then came the anger, raw and burning, when I realized my dad had tried to hack my bank account. Desperation I could understand, but theft? That crossed a line. Fear crept in too when Lily warned me he might do something stupid. Hearing him bang on the door that night, kicking it in rage, my heart raced with terror. Calling the police wasn't easy. Watching him handcuffed and glaring at me with pure hate twisted my gut. He was my father, after all. Part of me wondered if I'd gone too far, if blood should forgive everything. But no, he did this to himself and to us. Then my mom's actions hit even harder. Selling my stuff, stealing my car, pawning my laptop. It felt like a second betrayal. From the woman who'd always been softer, the one I thought might understand. Pressing charges against her was the hardest thing I've ever done. Standing there as the cops questioned her, hearing her cry and beg, "I'm your mother," I felt tears prick my eyes. Guilt washed over me in waves. Was I heartless, destroying my own family? But then I'd remember how they threw me out without a second thought, how they entitled themselves to my labor and possessions. The guilt faded into justified anger, then into peace. Seeing her handcuffed, I didn't feel triumph, just a profound sadness for what our family had become, mixed with an unshakable calm. I was done being the scapegoat. Driving away that final time, with my dad glaring from the driveway, I felt empowered but exhausted. Blocking them, starting fresh, it was cathartic, yet lonely. I missed the idea of parents, the security of family. But over time, that pain dulled into acceptance. No regrets, really. They chose pride and entitlement over gratitude and love. I chose self-respect. Watching them lose the house, struggle without me, I feel no joy. Only pity for the consequences they brought on themselves, and relief that I'm free. Lily escaping at 18 reaffirmed it. We both deserved better. Today, years later, I feel stronger, wiser, and truly at peace. That Christmas broke me, but it also rebuilt me into someone who knows my value. No one gets to brand me a burden ever again.